feel good. And we get together because we enjoy each other's company. We like sharing our experiences and our knowledge. And sometimes we do a little business together. So this morning we are going to be talking about blog layout 2021. So, having said that, let's begin as usual by doing our introductions. Let's see, I'm going to go the other end this time. The last person that I saw on the screen was Fred. So how would you like to introduce yourself, Fred?
Yes, thank you very much, LowellAnn. I'm Fred Jones, the creator of Our Future Leaders, where we assist young people to gain the leadership and communication skills, which will assist them to become the leaders that our world needs with all these changes that are happening. I'm located in my friend's boat, hiding away still from COVID-19 in Ladysmith on Vancouver Island, about 100 kilometers up island from where LowellAnn and Sarah are. It's a sunny day. Looks nice. It's going to be a great day again.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
Right
you.
Welcome here. Sarah.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sarah from Piece of Cake Communications in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. And it's been a good day. Yeah, it's sunny here too, a little bit sunny. And I've revamped my office. I like to change my office regularly, like every week or so. And I've tried to make it into, you might see here, like a little booth.
Yeah, it looks nice.
And I've had a couple of conversations just so far with my husband because no one else is allowed in the house. But it's a way of getting away from my actual desk. So we'll see how that goes.
Right on. So welcome here. Now let's see. David, go for it.
I'm Dave Flannery with Affordable Websites for Small Businesses. I'm here in Rock Falls, Illinois, in the middle of the United States, towards the top. It's roughly 50 degrees Fahrenheit outside. I'll let you guys calculate the Celsius. And right now we are broadcasting through YouTube and the website quite fine.
Right on. Thank you. So temperature wise, I don't know, here in Victoria, my phone says it's 10 degrees Celsius. So, Alana, how would you like to go? And I have to notice your logo is still backwards. It's on the other side now, but it's still backwards.
Oi. Okay. All right, I'll have to fix that. Okay, Alana here, coming to you from Ireland. My company is ALB Digital Marketing Solutions, where I write copy for small businesses and help them increase their visitors and sales. I'm here to almost 25 years. I'm still in Fahrenheit, even though this is a Celsius country. So I don't know. I don't know how warm it is, but we've had really unusual weather. Hail 1 minute, rain another minute, sunshine another minute. It's been crazy. So that's me. Happy to be here. And it is 5:01 in the afternoon Irish time, Greenwich Mean Time.
Yes. Yeah, we know. It's dinner time.
Dinner time, yeah. And so I won't be able to stay for like the afters because I have something pressing I need to deal with. But yeah, I'll be around.
Right on. And just so everybody else knows, Alana and I spent some time early this morning, for me, trying to reverse that logo.
I actually might pop. I may pop out and see if I can fix it and jump back in. So
Alana.
I have another background saved in Zoom, so I think I might switch it out and see if I
Yeah.
can get that fixed.
Now, David has some experience with this. So, David, wanted to say something.
Yes. Look at your original picture that you've uploaded and see if it's backwards. If it's backwards, you need to reverse it and then bring it into Zoom as if you're looking at it as it's correct. Okay?
Right, I think so. Okay, I'm gonna pop out. I'll talk to you guys in a minute.
Oh dear. Okay. Let's see. Vivek, how would you like to go next?
Leonardo da Vinci, who said simplicity is the ultimate in sophistication.
You moved your own sheet.
I am now fully paid up member of WA, so.
Oh dear. I guess you're just going to have to listen in. So lastly, is it you? Well, maybe not.
I've been able to accomplish being with Generate Press, where you can, using CSS, make it so that you can turn a section off and turn a section on for mobile and for mobile and for desktop, so that your different sizes are there, and it's not that hard to do. It makes it better because lots of times when you're dealing with mobile, you want to have a different picture than what you want on the desktop. Because if you put a smaller size picture in there, it looks better and it works a lot better. And you want different lettering, you want different size lettering and all that. And sometimes on Generate Press, you can change your headings and your headings to be different size for mobile. But I've not found where you can change your paragraph size. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist, and I'm sure I'm going to be told that you just do this and it makes it easier. But in about 2 minutes, in about 30 seconds here, Jay's gritting his teeth saying, "Oh, you can do that." But I really want to try doing it mobile first and get it designed so it's really, really not a second thought. It's the first thought, and then go back and do the big site and see how it works. It may not work for me. It might work for others. So.
Well, I know a lot of us are a little nervous about using CSS. I know you're an expert at it and you do it all the time, but
I'm not an expert at it. I will tell you I do it all the time, but I'm no expert by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, I guess I'm comparing you to me.
Okay.
I think you're an expert.
Well,
oh, there.
I do use it a lot.
It's working. It's working. Right on. So I mean, that's one reason why in my opinion, we need to pay attention to what things look like. But I think there are lots of other reasons why we need to pay attention. And I'm wondering if any others can think of other reasons why we need to pay attention to what's going on right now.
For one of the newsletters that I am involved in, even for the newsletters which go out as an email, even though MailChimp is being used and it is mobile friendly, we still have to consider mobile users even for an email. So that we do that. MailChimp doesn't handle things like read more if you have a link. If it appears as a link just for the text and you're trying to read it on a mobile phone, you can't really click on that link. It's really hard. So on such things, we deliberately take it out and make it a button.
Right. Aha. Okay.
So mobile first.
Yes. So, and you know, those of us that are still sitting around with a great big, desktop, um, you know, we have a tendency to forget that.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's but like I say, as I was looking at some of the stuff I was looking at this morning, I mean, I was just ready to take the phone and throw it somewhere. And it's not the phone's fault. So we can't blame it on the phone. So,
LowellAnn, I think you need mobile anger management.
well, right now, Jay, I have lots of anger management to deal with.
That looks like a scaphoid break to me.
So,
Bummer.
well, I was just telling everybody, just try making dinner with one hand. I could do. But and the other thing is that we've talked about is doing the left-handed mousing. Oh my God, my brain hurts. Anyway,
Need some Velcro on your cast. You can just
yeah. Anyway, so back to the topic. So why is it important for us to be paying attention to our layouts for 2021? Do you have any other reasons that you can pull out of your hip pocket, Jay?
well. So I can have the conch now?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, great, cool. Okay, first off, I agree with what Vivek was saying about email being mobile friendly. MailChimp in itself is a very graphic intensive user interface, UI. So they basically want you to design emails with their mindset thinking it's going to be desktop first. And to be honest with you, I want people to read stuff. I would rather have them read stuff not on mobile. So I'd rather have them read on desktop because they just absorb more information. So, which segues me into my next point is that personally, I would rather have people go to a desktop, laptop, or even a tablet, because if someone is Googling something with commercial intent, so like, best standing desk for apartments. And if they're Googling that on their phone, I know that they're not going to buy a standing desk from their phone, most likely, in most cases. So I want them to go to a desktop. So in some cases, what I do is I will have a little thing at the top, which I can control through the themes, like generate press, as to what Dave was saying, and say, hey, for an amazing experience, go to your desktop, laptop, or subscribe to go to your desktop or something like that, because commercial intent keywords deserve desktop environment. Okay, now that being said, sometimes obviously you have to go with the punches, if you will, because if you notice that your audience is on more often mobile, then you do need to take that into consideration. And one way to do that is to take a look at Google Analytics. So Google Analytics has, like, right in the dashboard on the bottom right hand side, it says how many people that visit your site are on mobile, tablet, and on desktop. And it will even tell you if it's going up or down. And you can check. Heck, you can even check out what type of phone they're on. You can dig that deep, what screen size and whatnot. So what they ate last night. It's really detailed in terms of what information you can find. So now building mobile first. I don't necessarily agree with that, just because of my earlier point saying that, I want people to buy on desktop, because I know, like, if it's like a $50 item or less, then I think mobile is acceptable. It's just, I think people are not at a point now. Society is not at a point where they feel comfortable buying on a mobile device, whether it be through a private website, like a website that is not associated to Amazon. So if I was selling them out of my garage, standing desks out, and I had my own Shopify store, people are far less likely to commit and pay and invest using a phone than they would be on a desktop, unless they're on using an Amazon app and it's associated to Amazon. Then people are a little more likely to do that. So so I just think that's, mobile first. Yes, that's what Google says, and it's what a lot of people say. Check your Google Analytics first and determine how much energy you want to spend in terms of doing that. From there, your theme. So assuming you're using a WordPress site, your theme should help you design something with mobile in mind. It should not be too much extra work to make your site mobile friendly. So I think, and what Dave was saying, GeneratePress, in my opinion, I think is a fantastic theme. So much to the point you can actually change the paragraph size to mobile using percentage versus pixel. There's your answer, Dave.
Yeah, and just to follow up with what you were saying, Jay, it's true. I mean, I'm just even thinking, because I use my phone a lot. Okay, so I'm just thinking, it's unlikely that I would buy anything, but I sure do check prices using my phone, big time. Yeah, Matthew.
Yeah, I had comments on the question based on what you guys were saying. First off, it's great to be here again. Thanks for, I love that you're doing this, and I feel like I missed my tribe over the last month. So awesome to see you all again. And I've been getting slowly involved in affiliate marketing, mostly with David, and learning some things from him. And so my world is a bit different in that I work with a lot of realtors, and I build websites for development projects, for pre-purchase condominiums and so on. And 55 to 60% of the people who are looking at those assets are going in digitally. So I'd be fascinated to find out more about how those buying decisions work, because I didn't know that, Jay. That's fascinating. That more people, it makes sense to me. Like, I would rather buy from my desktop than from my phone. I'm just wondering where that research comes from. And I'm really curious to know how that might apply to real estate. I wonder if there's a way I can find out. But yeah, thanks for that.
I have a counterpoint to what Jay said.
Go ahead.
If the services that you're offering are location dependent, say food item, shoes, groceries, pizza, then you probably are going to get a lot of customers who came through mobile.
Yeah. I was trying to visualize, Vivek, like our course that we've just developed. I think it very unlikely that anybody would sign up for a course on a mobile.
Yeah, true. But if the product is location specific, then yeah.
I think Sarah has a point. I'd like to mention something after Sarah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that this topic is not something that I would have ever thought of. Like it kind of throws my mind to think that you would develop a website first for mobile, because it just goes against how websites all started, right? So that's kind of a switch. But I'm also thinking mobile versus desktop. I would think for most purchases, and I don't know what the dollar value limit would be, maybe over $100, there'd be a combination, right? Like, I might check out a standing desk, as Jay said, on my mobile because I have the time waiting for an appointment, or it's just easier while I'm sitting somewhere to check that. I wouldn't ever purchase from my mobile. I think that's a lot of worry about e-commerce issues and security and safety. And if I'm home, I'm not using my phone as much because I'm home and I'd rather have the literal big screen for that. So I would assume that even if the purchase came through mobile, there probably would be a lot of desktop checking in as well. So it could be misleading, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think with mobile, it's acquire emails or acquire data, and then desktop is execute e-commerce. So with the realtor thing, what you're talking about, Matthew, so what realtors want, and Dave being here, you know, as someone who's an expert in that field, you know, what they want is lead acquisition. So they want numbers, they want people to call them, you know, and even if it's a developer, especially if you're doing pre-sales, like if you're doing, you know, coming soon, the Bayview or whatever, you know, people want, those developers want leads and emails so they could follow them up and they could sell those leads to, you know, the realtors or whatever. So I think there's a couple ways for lead acquisition for realtors on mobile devices. One is integrate Facebook. So Facebook Messenger is probably one of the best ways to do that, because they don't have to really provide anything. They just have to just kind of type the message, because you can integrate Facebook Messenger on a website. It could pop up, and then the person just has to tap that icon, and chances are 9 times out of 10 they're already logged into Facebook, and then they can just send a message to which Facebook Messenger can send an auto reply, and Facebook Messenger can actually send an email to the developer whoever's in charge of the lead acquisition for that Facebook Messenger app. So that's one way. The other way is to still integrate text to chat kind of thing scenario, push to call, and then also name an email. Probably just doing email first if it's only on a mobile. So, you know, I think that's one of the things and that's in my experience working with realtors here in Victoria, you know, in terms of their websites and their SEO and stuff like that. That's what they want, is they want that. People are not going to, you know, browse for houses on their phone per se. It's like, oh, hey, let's do a walkthrough. And they're just kind of pinch and pull, you know, it's just not going to happen. So lead acquisition.
Yeah. So David, you go ahead. I'm going to have to get up. I have to close my door because
Anyway, kind of disagree. I find, especially the young people, the people that are 25 and younger, they only use their phone for searching for real estate. They're not buying real estate. They're just looking at it and then going and they don't mind sending a contact form. It's not as scary as buying or purchasing something, because you're not sending your encrypted data and it get intercepted and all this good stuff. You're just sending an email, basically. And it to me, having it mobile friendly is very important, because a lot of people do use their phone just to do their research, to do their searches, because they get automatically notified when a new place comes online, and it's almost always they're with their phone, not their desktop. They might be at their desktop 25% of the time, but their phone is with them, you know, almost 100% of the time. So they're getting that notification, they look at it, and then they go from there.
Yeah, I think you're also talking about apps too. So like realtor.com and realtor.ca have apps. So, you know, that demographic is going to jump right into doing, you know, just having that app, so that if they're house hunting, obviously that's, you know, one way of doing it. Also, just to kind of circle back to what Vivek was saying, you're absolutely right. When it comes to local business, completely different game. But that's also, again, that's assuming that someone's going to want to get directions or so they're not going to be buying it online, with the exception of groceries and shoes. One of the two of the things that you mentioned where you can actually buy those things online now. with Amazon Fresh, and also just online grocery stores, and shoes. I mean, there used to be Zappos, and now there's, just teeming with, the internet is teeming with places to buy shoes. Baggins Shoes here in Victoria, you can actually buy, customize, and order your shoes all online. So your dope Vans, and get your Megadeth logo on the side of your Vans at that place. So it's just pretty rad. But I digress. But yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I think we can all agree that it's going to really depend on the niche and the audience that niche is associated to. So, local can be mobile centric, or I'm sorry, local, it's going to be mobile centric. If it's something where it's associated to Amazon, and it's like $50 and under, typically it can be a mobile phone purchase. But if it's a DOI lawyer in Beverly Hills, I'm going to want a phone, use my phone, if I'm in an accident or some sort of, I got pulled over or whatever, for whatever reason. But if I want to learn how to crochet a blanket and I want to get the materials for it, I'm probably going to be on a desktop or a tablet instead of a mobile device, because I want to see the instructions.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so we're talking about purchases. I mean, but what about, I mean, not all blogs are done for the purpose of somebody purchasing. And one of the things that came up for me was, and we talked about that earlier as well, was, okay, even if I'm on my desktop and I'm cruising around and etc., I find websites that have loads and loads of stuff on, sidebars and ads and things that are popping up all over the place. I find all those things very distracting. And so, and then when you add to that, if you want to look at that website from a mobile, all you get is all the ads that were on the sidebar. So, I mean, there's excuse me. There are a few considerations here, So.
Yeah, and I think it's important to just, like what I was saying, that it's important to have your theme, whatever platform, even if you're using Wix or Squarespace, or any other kind of web provider that provides the ability to make a website. That the theme should do the work for you. You should not do the work for the theme in terms of building something. I mean, you can get finite and you can get really, you can start doing scope creep and start going down the rabbit hole and figuring out these tiny little things, which, you have to kind of question yourself, like, is this going to prevent a sale or a lead or an acquisition, or we can kind of bundle it all together and call it a conversion, right? Is this going to hurt or help conversions? Like, speaking of Generate Press, which is the theme that, Dave was talking about, which is actually the provider of the theme lives right here in Victoria. So, if you want to support local, or if you don't want to support local, then still, for those of you who are international here, if you don't want to support local, then buy the Generate Press theme. So if you want to support local and you live in Victoria, get the Generate Press theme. So, but I mean, what's great about the Generate Press theme is that you can preview what it looks like in a mobile environment before deploying it, or as you're playing around with it. If I could just kind of share my screen here, one moment. Let's see here. So
while you're doing that, I wanted to throw in, he is the local one for me, even though I'm in Illinois, because no one in Illinois makes themes like that.
Yeah. So this is a desktop environment. So if I click on any one of these, you can see I have a single column. Oh, by the way, before I forget, Google's dropping a big SEO algorithmic update bomb relatively soon. And if you notice, my little featured image is changed a little bit, where it used to be like all the way across.
Right.
Is now smaller and justified to the right because of this alleged big Google algorithmic bomb that's supposedly going to be dropping soon. So been reading up onto
can you explain that a little bit more?
Jay? Google is shaking the monkey tree and making people cry. to be, but basically what they're doing is they're updating their like what they perceive as their SEO guidelines in terms of what they would like to see on websites that are listed in their search engine, and that if they don't have that kind of things that they're suggesting, there's a potential where your site can go down in the rankings, and those that are following these rules are going to go up in rankings. One of them being, page loads is going to be a new SEO factor, and images, like how many images, content, where the content is located, whether on a mobile device or not, kind of thing. So, so like kind of going back to Generate Press, if I wanted to alter the look of the theme of this site, and you'll notice it's a single column, it's not a dual column anymore. Right. That's another thing that I've been, focusing on. So I hit this customize button. This loads into the Generate Press editor, if you will.
Yes.
Now, what's cool is on the bottom left-hand side here, I have a thing that can dynamically change it to what it looks like via a mobile environment. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now it's not actually perfect, because it's rendering what it perceives it would look like on a mobile device, but there's so many different mobile devices that, it's going to be relatively different. So, but it's a good idea is to see what it would look like. But the cool thing about Generate Press is that, if I wanted to change the headings, so those are these things here, these little guys.
Yeah.
I can do that, and I can do that so if you look here, you see how there's this little mobile icon. So it knows that I'm in the mobile preview. So it's saying, okay, Jay, here's what you've got set for your mobile environment. So my H2 is set to 21, and you see here I can change and move them around, and I can get a preview as to what these would look like in a mobile environment, which is fantastic, which is great.
Do they have the same thing for the body text?
The body text, no, not yet, but you can set this. This can be changed to EMs or yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. But yeah, so I'm all about what I used to do is I used to have a side column, a sidebar with the table of contents on the side, but I had it sticky. But what I was learning was that people were reading it, everything was fine. But then I tested it where it was just single column and people were staying on the site a lot longer. And my hypothesis on this is that when you have a sidebar and you scroll down, even though the sidebar might be sticky, your main content area is just to the left. It's slightly askew. So you're not reading like this, you're reading like this ever so slightly. And I think it's very subtly distracts people, or people are not absorbing information because, in our society, when we read anything, a book, a newspaper, or whatever, we're looking straight on. We're not looking, off to the side. So I think when we're looking straight on, we're absorbing our information a lot better. That's why I do this, because I think people are absorbing, and, Google Analytics is saying, hey, Jay, you got people staying on here a lot longer than you did last week, which is when I had the sidebar. So saying, all right, makes sense. Makes sense
The
to me.
table of content on the sidebar might even prompt somebody jump to the section they are directly interested in, read that, and then go away.
Yeah,
Rather
get to the
than
point. Yeah. I mean, the reason why I used the table of contents in the first place was to get something called site links in Google. So if I Google something, let's go Matilda Jane MLM review. So these things here are called site links. So it says, you know, yeah. So if I actually click on one of these, so if I can click on, I'll just open it in a new tab. Not only does it take me to the actual article, but it takes me down to that section. And that's exactly what, you know, there's the section there. Can you make money with the Matilda Jane? And you see that's what that is. So if I hit cons, it jumps me down to the cons area and so on and so forth, right? And there's the cons area. So that's the entire purpose of having, and I thought that it was important to have it on the sidebar. Once upon a time it was, but now I'm finding that, you know, this is just as effective, which you can, you know, you can hide it and stuff like that. So, and it still works because these things are still showing up in Google. So, and it's
how do those links appear on a mobile device? If you're the content table of,
oh, let's see.
oh,
So they still work.
Yeah.
Works,
How does
but-
it show up on, if you're looking in Google, will it show those?
The site links? Yes.
Yeah, the site links.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
In the phone.
Yep. Yeah, they still show up.
So, just going back to the point I made earlier about the lack of distractions, that using that one single column view is so much more enjoyable to read because you don't have all this other stuff happening. So I'm glad you mentioned what's going to happen with Google Analytics, etc., because we are going to be talking about SEO next week. So we need to dive into that a little bit more next time. The other thing that I wanted to think about was so what I mean, what about these people that are putting all those ads on their sidebars? Where are they going to put those things now? What? Oh, Jay has left us. Where are people going to put all those Google ads and all of that? Like what's going to happen there?
They'll end up on page 2 of Google. Basically, what's going to happen is, well, that's not necessarily true, but I mean, in a mobile environment, they end up on the bottom anyways, you know, in most cases, if it's a half decent theme. But, you know, I mean, it's not going to be...
But I mean, that's what a lot of people in WA are using the sidebars for, is to put all those ads. So...
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's up to them, you know, I mean, so I will educate as many people as I can when it comes to what I think should be done. It'll then be up to them to decide what they want to do. Right. I mean, so, I mean, you know, who knows what's going to happen? I can't predict what Google's going to do. Maybe Vivek can, but I can't.
Quick question, Jay.
Yes.
How many ads would you put, if you were doing ads, how many ads would you put on a blog?
On a blog doesn't I would do maybe like 2 within the content, so first third and second third or something like that, or halfway through.
Yeah, you wouldn't go more than 2. I tend to go 1. I would go 1.
Yeah, it depends on the niche, to be honest with you. So I mean, if I'm doing a food site, I can, and the intent of that particular blog was revenue driven through ads, then yeah, I would put more ads on. But when you get to a point when you have 50,000 visitors a month on your site, then you can apply to a company called Mediavine. And then Mediavine basically takes it over your ads and controls that. So in many cases, there's going to be, like 5-7 ads on there running at the same time, but that's because it's making you money and people are still, it's revenue driven directly through ads. So, I mean, I know I've got an associate who's making 10K a month, and 6K of that is through ads, and the other 4 is through affiliate marketing. So, and it's related to food.
Wow. Okay, Javita, I noticed that you waved a little while ago, and we got off on a tangent. I wanted to go back and see. Now, maybe we've moved on, and what you wanted to ask is not appropriate. I don't know, but was there anything you needed to ask or say? No, it looks like she's having a hard time with her computer. Yeah. So we've been talking about sales and all of that. Now, I know that Fred, for example, and Sarah, and to some degree maybe Alana, and I, none of us are really trying to sell something right there. So how do you folks relate to a cleaner look and looking at trying to pay attention to mobile, etc.? Any comments up from you folks? Yeah, Alana.
Well, I just received my report from SEMrush this morning, and so I'm basically trying to clean up the CSS and minified JavaScript. So that's been an issue on my site for some reason. I haven't been able to figure out how to fix it. So today I installed a plugin that's supposed to do that job. So my focus will be on page load speed, because I think that's going to be important, especially on phones, especially on cell phones. I'm guessing that people who are looking at a page that is going to take more than 3 seconds to load is already moving on. And I know that just from my own experience. If a page takes more than 3 seconds to load, I've already lost interest. So I'm just going by my own experience.
Okay. Any other comments from others? So yeah, Matthew.
I haven't had a lot of experience with setting up ads, Google ads on my own websites at this point, but I've never really been happy with what I've seen when I'm working with clients that have websites that are activating Google ads. Usually it's quite messy. It's often not to target. I'm sure there's ways to make it better, which I'm not aware of, but I haven't really been too involved with setting up Google ads on websites. I've advertised websites, but I haven't actually put advertising on websites, just because it just to me it just distracts people from your core message. I just don't like it personally, but I'm sure I've got lots to learn about it.
Don't we all? Right. So any other comments or questions out of the group?
Yes, I want to ask Jay.
Okay.
Because actually my connection is not stable, so I miss a lot of part of this discussion. But what I want to ask is, from affiliate marketing perspective, then how we are going to add the means you are saying that we should not put the ads in the sidebars, and I totally get it. And I don't, I myself never put too much ads in the sidebars. But as an affiliate marketer, what should then we do to promote the products?
Yeah, great question. So, I mean, and actually one of the reasons why, your site ranks so well. So for example, when I Googled, Matilda Jane MLM review, Javita's site is on the first page of Google amongst with 8 other of my students, which is really funny.
It's just because of Jay's SEO ninja tricks.
Okay, there you go. Enough of that. But basically, so how to do it without a sidebar, right? How to promote, how to do call to actions, conversions is to what we call it. And really it's allow people to read the content and then have some sort of call to action at the end. Because if you think about a piece of content, so if I'm saying like the top 3 standing desks for apartments, and I list these things out, it's gonna, each area is gonna have like an affiliate link. So it's about pre-selling information. So if I'm doing a single review of something, right, then I want to pre-sell that information. I want to educate people, and then at the end of the content, then allow your customer to give them the opportunity to make that sound choice, right? You can convince them as much as you want, and go for them. It's like doing a presentation and then going for the kill, if you will, and asking for the sale. I'm sure Sarah would agree with me in terms of, letting people, educating people first before, saying, here, buy this, sign up to my email, do this. Effective communication is ideal. So whether it be through audio, through video, through text, doesn't matter. It's all about pre-selling the information. So, having those call to action items at the bottom are, I think, what's really important.
Okay, so another idea pops up for me as something that I've been trying, and I don't think it has had a positive effect, but I would like to hear what everybody else thinks. Is what about those pop-ups? How do you react to pop-ups when you go to a website, Sarah?
Pop-ups, I get so insulted, like it's like mind litter, right? If I see, even if I really wanted that stand-up desk, and I've been, this is the one I want, and I've done all the research. As soon as I start seeing those pop-ups, I just get mad, and I start doing this revolt. It's like, there's no way I'll buy anything but that, and I'll send an email to the company telling them why I didn't buy their product because of that. It infuriates me because it's a big waste of my time, right? And sometimes even now, I know there's rules now about, or I believe there is, about how easy they have to make it for you to shut down the pop-up, or like to find the X to close it down. But sometimes that's hard to find. And then you accidentally click something in your frustration and you end up in a whole different avenue. So if I see pop-ups, that's bad news for the seller for me.
Right on. David.
On my websites, the only pop-ups I use are when you click a button, so that you're wanting to like go to a form instead of going to another page for a form. I just have the form pop
there.
up. But you're requesting that information, so that shouldn't be intrusive to you. I don't use pop-ups on any of my on any of my sites, and I encourage my clients to do the same. I find them very intrusive. I'm on Sarah's camp there too. I don't go quite as far, but I find them very intrusive and don't use them.
Aha. And Matthew?
It's like going into a store. You're going in there to buy something, and there are people that are milling around, and you're looking, you think about electronics, and a salesperson comes through, hey, I got this perfect thing for you to buy. Just buy it right now.
Okay.
It's like the walking through the perfume aisle at a department store.
Oh God.
cute. I can't wear that.
Oh dear. Okay, so
Well, can I just quickly say something about the pop-ups?
Yeah.
So here's the unfortunate part is that if pop-ups did not work, were effective, they would not exist. Very similar to spam. If spam was not profitable, it would not exist. So the unfortunate reality is pop-ups work. And honestly, I think if a pop-up is done in a respectable way, I'm all for them. Me being the marketer, right? It has to be done in a very respectful way. So for example, it could be done as what's called an exit pop-up. So if someone's reading a review or something, and then they gesture their mouse to leave, something can come up and say, hey, I've got 10% off for you right now if you want to just kind of check it out. So it might give them an incentive to stay, fill in their email, capture their lead kind of thing. And I have exit pop-ups on certain websites, and they're effective. So they're very effective. So, but again, it can't be done, like a pop-up should not come right away as soon as you land on the page. It's a bad user experience. It actually takes people away from the content that they originally wanted to. So they've already judged you because you had a pop-up before they had any chance to process an opinion. So it has to be done, after say 60 seconds or something like that, or what's called an exit intent. So I think that's important. So.
Well, all this conversation makes me feel as though I feel as though I did a really beautiful pop-up for the Being Your Own CEO .com. It looks really nice, and it really just invites you to join. But it hasn't seemed to have worked. So it's been on my mind to should I remove it or shouldn't I? Alana.
Well, there was a time when everyone was using the HelloBar, and I'm wondering, maybe Jay can answer this question. Is that less intrusive by using a HelloBar than a pop-up? Because at least there it's at the top, it's not in your face, but you still have the option if you want. What do you think?
Less intrusive means less conversions, absolutely. But yeah, it is less intrusive. Again, it has to be done in an effective manner. Like if it's just like, hey, save 10%, then do that. So instead of maybe kind of like a HelloBar where it's sticky at the top, and as long as it's related to the niche in itself. For example, I have a student that has a pet website, and that pet website they're affiliated with Chewy, is it Chewy.com or Chew.com, whatever the dog outlet, American dog outlet store is. And it says, hey, save 30% on your first auto order or something. And the website's about dogs and dog foods and dog allergies, and so it's very related. And it's just a little bar at the top that's sticky, so as you scroll down, it just stays there. So that is very effective. So which is very similar to HelloBar. So what we've done with their site is we have the sticky thing at the top and a nice call to action box at the bottom of the actual article. So, and both of them are exactly the same, and it's worded. Save 30% on your next dog food order. Learn more. So it's passive. It's not telling them to go buy this or else, the seas will part and whatnot. So it's just a very passive way to say, hey, listen, there's a button right there if you want to save 30%. And it's working very, very well.
So is that done through a plugin, or is that hard coded in?
Yes.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, if you just sign up to my coaching today, you will find out. No, no, it's done through it's kind of like a plugin and the theme put together.
Okay.
It's something called Hustle Pro.
Okay.
Hustle Pro being the plugin, and the Generate Press theme is the theme.
Right.
So very effective. And with Hustle Pro, you can track how many people have seen it versus how many people have clicked it. It's an awesome tool. Awesome tool.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I mean, even with your pop-ups, if there's a way to get the analytics, that would be an important thing, wouldn't it? Yeah. Okay. Any other questions or comments before I ask Fred to give us the last word? You want to give the last word, Fred? Okay, go for it.
Thank you, LowellAnn. I find it very interesting, being the audience mainly, that the whole conversation has gone from the topic to advertisements and pop-ups, because that really wasn't the topic, but that is where most people were interested in. But the first topic about being mobile friendly, etc., for 2021 website, I think is very important. And I really appreciated what David said. He said the younger people only use their phone. And when I look at the audience here, none of us are that younger generation.
No.
And I would say to you, be very, very aware that the younger generation only use their phone. And if that's where you are and that's your audience, be extremely aware of that, because I notice that when I work with some of the groups that I work with. So so I think that was the thing that Jay said. It depends on your niche and on your audience.
Absolutely.
And when you come back to all of these ads, that was the second topic which really popped up. So it was a pop-up, not only pop-up ads, but it was a pop-up topic about pop-ups. I thought, like everything in life, there's pluses and minuses. There's appropriate places where it works, and there's other places where it'll annoy you, so you'll become like Sarah, and you'll say, I'm going to write the nastiest letter to you about what you're doing, because this is not the way you should be doing it. And that's good for Sarah, because I agree with her in many cases. And LowellAnn, you brought up that topic as well, that the ads are driving you crazy. It's just coming. So we got to be aware of that. It depends on your audience and depends on your niche, the age group, the locations, all of that. If you and that's where you start, I think. Who's my audience, and how do I reach them, and how do I not annoy them, and how do I get them to do what I want them to do, which whatever it is, buy something or sign up for something or join something. So and the last thing I'd like to say is I really enjoy being here, even though I sit here and say, does this apply to me? I don't want ads, but it does, because we had this on video, and I can always go back to your website and look at all of these topics that we've discussed over the years and find out what was that when it's relevant to me. So I really appreciate the fact that we have all these diverse topics. So it's of great interest to me, and see what we do. So that's my last word. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Good points as usual. So I really want to just remind everyone, it's important to do what you love with passion. And as I mentioned before, next week's topic will be the importance of SEO. So we hope you will see you all there next week. And I'm going to hit my outro now.